recollections I have at working at Queen Mary Hospital, Maternity Hospital in Dunedin as a second year student. There was a wonderful Scottish physiotherapist. I can't remember her name now, but she was from Edinburgh, and she had the most beautiful lilting Scottish accent, and she was in charge of the obstetric physiotherapy, as it was called in those days. And I have strong memories of going around with this delightful Scottish woman. She was an older physiotherapist. She had snowy white hair. Older, of course, is a relative term when you get older like I am. And I remember going in and she showing me the first post-natal mother that I'd ever seen, and she showed me what her jelly-like tummy and how floppy and jelly-like it was, and then she showed me the exercises that we would start doing with the woman. And so my first memory of seeing this jelly-like tummy with this mum who had just had a vaginal delivery, and then doing some rectus abdominis exercises with this mother. I also have strong memories of seeing twins born by caesarean section. That was the first birth I'd ever seen, and of course, in those days, there was no such thing as epidurals. The mother was out for it. But I'm watching these twins being born. I have strong memories of that, and also seeing my first birth there, and remembering the cries of the woman, which many years later, once having worked a lot at National Women's, I do identify with, and having also given birth to 2 children, but there is a lot of spontaneous sounds that women make during labour and giving birth. But remembering seeing my first delivery there, it was quite amazing, and seeing this baby slither out and all covered with vernix and blood, and but in those days, no, they didn't deliver them onto the mum's tummy. They were quickly suctioned and wiped and made all beautiful before they gave to the mum. It was still in those early days before the kennel and claws had their impact, and about rooming in and all of that bonding stuff that came out in the early 1970s. I also recall one of the things that as physiotherapy students that we had to do was take these infrared lamps around, and for women who had stitches, particularly stitches that hadn't healed, and we'd have to put an infrared lamp on these women's perineums, and they would have to be on for a minimum of 30 minutes. And we also had to work on Saturdays, and as students we really felt quite grumpy about that, but in those days we were not too well unionised, and we did what we were told. But that was the commonest thing we had to do on a Saturday, was infrared to perineums for women who'd had episiotomies and stitches, particularly if their stitches had broken down. I do recall actually attending antenatal classes with this wonderful Scottish physiotherapist, and doing relaxation with her lying on the floor, and her beautiful Scottish voice lilting us all, mothers and the physiotherapy students, as we lay down and experienced her style of relaxation. It was lovely. Her beautiful Scottish voice just lilted us off almost into sleep. It had quite an impact upon me, because later on when I did some antenatal classes, I used all the techniques that she used in those days when I was a physiotherapy student at Queen Mary Hospital.